Okay, dinner or tea, depending on what you say. And I'm also going to tie in desserts with this as well. So the sign for dinner is just dinner, dinner. We could have meats, meats, which is the same as the sign for pink. I think it comes from the fact that meats, when they're butchered, tend to be hung. Certainly cured meats are hung for a time on a little metal hook. So meats. We could have lamb with our little finger in a circle. Lamb. Pork, the same as the sign for pig. Pork. Beef, the same as the sign for cow. Fish, we know from our animals. Okay, roast. Roast is our hands like a tray into the oven. Roast. Very similar to the sign for baking or a baker, which is just two fingers into the oven as well. Baked or baking, baker, roast. So we could have roast vegetables that I've mentioned already. Okay, chops. Very similar to chips. Oh, interesting. Sound the same as well. Very similar. Chops are this sort of motion, like bacon chips, but with the curved shape. So if you imagine pork chops, chops. Also looks similar to croissant. I don't know, I've got no way of getting around that. Lots of these signs look very similar. But we have a different mouth pattern with subtle differences in the signing as well. So we shouldn't get confused. It's all good. Here's two more that look similar. Pie is a little circle. I do it over my hand. Some people just do the circle, but I like pie. And then pizza is just a bigger version of that. Pizza. Okay. Baked beans. Baked beans. BB. You could have baked beans on toast, maybe. Pasta. If you've ever seen pasta being made fresh, it goes into the machine and there's a turning handle at one end and the pasta is squeezed through. This is certainly for spaghetti, not sure about other pastas, but it's squeezed through and there's the one end which has holes in the metal and the pasta is forced out in the desired shape. Now, the sign for pasta is based off that. It has two V's in each hand. One hand is like the turning mechanism. The other hand is the pasta coming out the other end. So, pasta. Pasta. Good. Rice. 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 With our rice we might have curry, or the other way around, with our curry we'll have rice. Curry. It's spicy curry. A burger, fairly obvious. If we were to go out for a meal, we might go to a restaurant, and restaurant is the same as the sign for dinner. Restaurant. If we go to a foreign restaurant, the sign for foreign is... Okay, some foreign restaurants, or foreign food types we could have are Italian. Italian, which is like the shape of the boot, Italy on the map. Italian. Indian is a V shape with our forefingers, which is a very loose approximation of the shape of India on the map. Indian. And Chinese. Chinese comes from the shawls, so the sign for Chinese is Chinese. Comes from the traditional dress, the shawls that are worn. Although I'm sure that's not the proper terminology. But there you go. In our Chinese restaurant, we could have sweet, sweet and sour. Sweet and sour with rice, perhaps. In our Italian, we might have pizza. Pizza. In our Indian, we might have curry. Cool. Dessert. Let's have some desserts. So, biscuit is on our left arm, near the elbow. Biscuit. Biscuit. Scone is actually the same as bread roll. unhelpful again. But scone is a little bit different in that scone is just straight down. Scone and bread roll is rolled around, sort of. Cake is on the back of our left hand. Cake. With those things we could have cream, which really comes from whipped cream, but it references, it's the same sign for all types of cream. That's cream. We could have ice cream. Ice cream. And chocolate I've mentioned, I think. Chocolate. Without the scratching the nose. Good. I think that's all of the dinner, dessert words that I want to tell you about. Bin.